Hey everyone, today I am live in this gloomy morning here in Austin, Texas. I got some extra lights. I'm ready to share with you some of exciting updates about a project that we are building on Toolhouse, which is called Fastlane. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. If you're in the European continent or elsewhere where it's a little later into the day, or good morning if you're on this side of the world where it's super early, I guess, in San Francisco, or it's the rest of the US. Either way. So today I want to talk about Fastlane. Fastlane is a new project that we've been developing, and I think it will make for a better web for everybody. One of the things that we discovered when we were building Toolhouse is that a lot of people outside in the world there, they want to basically build things that use AI for scraping. And so building things that require scraping can become kind of a challenge. And I will explain to you why. So here's Fastlane. Sorry, my head is in the middle. How do I do this? There you go. A better web for truly everybody. Okay, so what's this about? Well, this is a thing that we noticed as well, right? And this is a tweet that came out a couple of days ago that really summarizes the problem. When people want to scrape the internet, they have to launch some sort of agents. These agents, they use whatever technique. Some of it is just like curl request. Some of them are headless browsers, and maybe there's more techniques that we don't know about. That, but I think those are the two major techniques. So it's like an HTTP request or or a headless browser. Those are the two big ones. And so 10 years ago, Google would crawl a page, right? Or two pages per every human visitor. And then 6 months ago, people cranked up the dial and they said, okay, for every human visitor, we'll send more bots to look at the content of the page. And then nowadays, it's insane. Like Google does it 18 times per every human visitor. OpenAI does it 1,500 times per visitor. And again, these numbers, take them with a pinch of salt. We cannot actually verify them, but I guess these numbers come from Cloudflare or from some other huge company that has seen a lot of traffic coming from these IP addresses, from these bot farms that are scraping the internet. So why is this? Why does it matter? Well, if you're a small person, as in a small timer, you just have your blog, maybe you're not a small person. You can be anyone. But the point being that you will receive a lot more traffic requests from bots, and that's money. You have to pay the bills, right? Might have heard from like all these horror stories where it was something like, my bill with Vercel just spiked up to $10,000 this month, and it's a horror story. As a developer, how do you protect yourself from these stories, right? Like from this scraping happening. And so, if you just go on Google and you can find like stories where there's like people getting bills for 104,500. Here's one, just like the title of this video, kind of clickbaity, but a surprise 104,000. That's crazy. Okay, well, it's not crazy if you're getting crawled by thousands of bots on top of humans. Okay, so what's the idea behind Fastlane? Well, Fastlane, the idea is like, if you're a content creator, you make a blog, and you want humans and also crawlers to use your platform, you should be able to earn something. Okay, humans usually, you create maybe a Substack, you put a paywall in front of that. It's not super sexy, right? Like people now have to sign up to see your content, but it's a solution. Maybe that's how you make money. Maybe some people, like, there's very famous people that have like paid newsletter, like Lenny from the product management blog. Here it is, Lenny Rachitsky. I don't really know how to pronounce his name. Sorry for butchering your name, but he's got 1 million subscribers, right? Of which certain percentage, maybe 10%, 20% are paying users. And so all of the content that Lenny does is behind a paywall, and some of it is free, and some of it is he sends by email. But the point is that the bots, if it's behind a paywall, they don't really have access to it, right? So how does Lenny make money? From humans. But does that mean that AI agents should be like gimped? Like, does it mean that the AI agents shouldn't access certain type of content, especially if it's free? Well, that's where things like Vercel Bot ID comes up in Cloudflare Turnstile, right? So if you look at this, these are like the new or the greatest and best CAPTCHA system, which we will see in a second, basically stop bots from doing their work. And similarly, Vercel just released this a week ago, and yeah, it does a lot of things. It's based on some other technology by a company called Kazada, which apparently specializes in stopping bots. And so if you want to scrape the content on a blog, as an AI scraper, as an someone who builds AI agents, and you really need some information, you're going to be completely blocked. You're not going to be able to pass through. These are very advanced anti-block mechanism. And I've been doing a lot of research. It's not super simple to bypass this stuff, okay? So what can you do as a a person like me? Like you want to scrape a website, you want to do something for a hackathon, you want to do something for your blog, for your free time, like you have a side project, well, you're going to get blocked. There's some options. You have to pay and hire someone that has an infrastructure that's like anti-bot, like removal, whatever. Like basically you can use their infra and then you can still scrape the web, but that's expensive. It can cost up to like $1 and some to bypass 1,000 pages. So every time you scrape 5,000 pages, you're paying $5. That's insane. Things that in 10 years ago you could just do, now you cannot do anymore because of the rise of these agents. So let's jump into what is Fastlane all about. So Fastlane, I'm going to start this with a nice demo. Bam. All right. So imagine you have a blog, right? Like you're a human person. You're like, la, 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 la. I'm on this blog. It looks good. It doesn't actually, but it's deployed. You can navigate here, by the way. If you want to go and get to this website and try it yourself, feel free to hit this QR code and you'll be able to do it yourself. Okay. So I'm going to open here. As you can see, this is a blog that's protected by Turnstile, which is a anti-bot framework that Cloudflare gives for free. I don't know if it's free. It's free up to a certain amount of requests. And now I'm like, okay, I'm a human. I just, I proved to the world that I'm human through Turnstile. I can browse the web, and it's pretty awesome. Okay. But what happens if you're trying to do it as an agent? What happens if you're trying to do it as a bot? Well, I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So I'm going to bring this terminal up here, and you will see exactly what I mean. Okay, let me just move it to the screen. Oh, how do I do that? Why is it not moving to the other screen? It's not cool. Oh yeah, because it's like, maybe it's because I'm full screen. Let's see. No? Whoa, okay, here we go, fine. So let's run this script, which will mimic what a bot does, a headless browser that wants to scrape a certain website. Okay, so I'm gonna run it, and you will see something is gonna start. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's an error here. Connection refused. Oh, okay, cool. Let's try again. Where is it? Localhost. It's trying to connect to localhost. Okay, I'm gonna change it up. Just give me a second. I don't have a localhost server instance running, so I'm gonna do that. There we go. npm run dev. Okay, and now it's gonna work. Okay, here it is. It launched. So what you can see here is that I'm on localhost, right? This browser here that you're seeing on screen is actually controlled by a script. As you can see here, it says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. So basically, this is there's a framework called Playwright There's other frameworks called like Stagehand. There's a lot of frameworks out there that allow you to basically open a Chrome instance, and then with code you can write, hey, go to this page, click on this button, do this thing, do this other thing. If you write enough, logic into your code, you're going to be able to like scrape thousands of pages, even if they're behind paywalls, right? Because you can give it a login. So for example, you can make one that like connects as you on LinkedIn and automatically posts for you. Now if you add AI to that, you can also make the post really interesting, because you can connect other data sources. The agent will go and comment on people's responses. You can automate a lot of like things that otherwise you would require humans to do, oversight, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, going back to this, if I click this button, I'm blocked because this browser is, which is like a robotic browser, an AI agent headless browser. That's what they use, right? It's not going to pass the test. And so as an agent, if you were to use this technology, you will now be blocked. Okay, so this is not great. So how do we fix that? Well, going back to Fastlane, which was here, the point of Fastlane is that you have, okay, let me delete that, is that you have this table here where you have a wallet. You have an agent with ID 1, has a token. This is obviously like a made up token, and then you have a wallet with a certain amount of credits. Okay, so what you can do now is I can do a request with here. Okay, here we go. Close this and let's open this tab here. I'm gonna do a curl request to the Fastlane page here that I deployed on Cloudflare, and I'm gonna try to hit this blog post here, and you will see that if I pass the header Fastlane with a valid token here, agent token 1, it's going to be able to return the content of the page. And here we go. Here you go, just like that. Now you have a nice markdown content returned to the agent. So basically everything that's on this page, through a middleware called Fastlane, you can do two things. You can say, okay, is this request coming from a bot? Yes. Is the bot authenticated? AKA, can I charge the bot a certain amount of money to access the content? If yes, then return a markdown version of the page. And there's the markdown version. Once again, it's really nice because AI agents or scrapers are much better at digesting markdown instead of digesting HTML. So if I were to pay 1 credit to access this page as an agent, it would be worth it, right? Because not only I'm paying to access the content, 1 credit, not only I have ensured the content is returned to me in a nice markdown format, but also I'm making sure that there is an actual exchange of tokens, which could be like a credit, like a gold coin, whatever you want to call it. Then you can top up your wallet if you have one. And so remember, it was 92. If I refresh now, we're down to 91. Let me show that again. We got 91 for the agent, and we go 209 for the publisher. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Again, same token, agent token 1. Same content gets scraped. Refresh, and we're down to 90 and 210. So what does that mean? Well, that means that I was able to serve content to an agent in exchange for a microtransaction of some sorts. Now, of course, in our demo, the wallet that you have, it's loaded up with just numbers. It's just like a simple ledger moves a number from the wallet in the agent's let's say context, and it moves that 1 token to the publisher. Okay, and this is obviously super early demo, but it kind of like gives you an idea of what Fastlane can do. Another really cool thing you can do to prove that this is actually working really well, to enable agents to like scrape the content, is we can build an agent on Toolhouse. So let me go here, go to Agent Studio. Oh, actually, I should probably log out of this account. Log in with mine. All right. Perfect. Give me a second here. Agent Studio. All right. So I made this already in yesterday. I was doing the same demo in front of people. And so here you have like the agent builder, right? That we have inside of Toolhouse, the agent studio. So here, the prompt is very simple. It says, build a web scraper agent which will navigate to Fastlane, summarize the content of the page. And here's the catch. It says, use code interpreter and write a Python script to do that. So instead of using like a web scraper that's out there like what's it called, Firecrawl or Exa or whatever, we're actually building our own scraper inline, right? Like we're asking Toolhouse to run the code to scrape a specific page. And then the important part here is when you do a GET request, please do pass the header that has the following data. And here's the header with whatever token you would have if you were to use Fastlane. So in this one specifically, we're passing the same thing as before, agent token 1. So let's copy this and let's run it again. I'm going to create a brand new agent. I'm going to paste this here, and I'm going to say only use code interpreter once if possible. Okay, I'm going to run it. And what's going to happen is the Toolhouse Agent Studio is going to build the scraper for me on the fly. Perfect. And now all I have to do is run it, or I can deploy it. I'm going to run it and let's see what happens. So the agent is starting. The prompt is going to be parsed by an LLM. It's going to be sent to one of the MCP servers, which is our code interpreter server. It's going to write the Python code for scraping the page, and it's going to do the modification of adding the Toolhouse Fastlane header so that you can actually get access to the content without being blocked. And I will show you in a second why. Okay, it's using it twice. I guess the first time it's writing the code, the second time it's running it. And if we go here, we're down to, okay, so it did one call. Let's see if we get the results back in the agent studio. All right, let's see. It's gonna appear in a second. Perfect. There you go. It was able to scrape the content of the page thanks to basically the code interpreter take here. So what would happen if I was just using my browser here and access the same page without passing a token? That's the last part I want to show you in this short live stream. So I'm going to do curl x get and then pass the URL and then agents, because I think that's the name of the page. Yeah, agents. Okay, cool. So as you can see, when you're a human, you get hit with the CAPTCHA. But what happens when you're a bot? Oh, there you go. See, you basically get the HTML of the page instead of the markdown. There is no content. You're being blocked because you cannot resolve the CAPTCHA, right? Whereas if you use the Fastlane token, then in that case, it works. And we can show that once again. There we go. And you get the markdown of the page, just like you would expect. Okay, so where does that lead us to? Well, as I was saying, the whole point of letting everybody use the web in a similar fashion makes sense. If you're a human, you probably shouldn't pay to access a blog post. But if you're a crawler and you're maybe crawling the website or the page to do some sort of task, maybe you're trying to get data to train the LLM more. Maybe you're trying to achieve, some, data extraction from a page. Maybe you're trying to do, scrape some data that would otherwise be not accessible to you. Well, with Fastlane, you're giving a token and you're getting the data, right? And that makes sense because if you're not a human and you're an agent, you should probably have a wallet that allows you to do some sort of tasks that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. So this is kind of the big spiel of Fastlane. Here is just like talking more about the ability to compensate the creators. We want to make it so that bot traffic doesn't consume all of the bandwidth, and of course using like more advanced ways to like make sure that the tokens of the agents when they get exchanged with the publishers, they're all secured, and so there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So I'm going to skip all of these slides. If you want to learn more about Fastlane, I put up a repo with some basic code, basically the code that I showed you today, which allows you to run a Fastlane mock server on your computer, and then using the tools that you already have, like curl on your command line, or maybe you want to set up your own scraper, like I did using Playwright. Then you can do that and test how Fastlane could prevent bots from accessing your content without having a valid payment sort of mechanism. Okay, so if you want to reach out, if you're interested, feel free to shoot me an email, and I will answer, and I will love to chat to you if you're into this whole new way of collaboration between publishers and scrapers, AI agents, etc., etc. Feel free to join Toolhouse if you like the Toolhouse Agent Studio that I just showed you. If you want to build agents, that's just like my plug of Toolhouse. And I think there's also a Discord, which is available at discord.toolhouse.ai, and you can join that. You can come and chat about Fastlane, or if you want to talk about any other agentic workflow for fun or for your business, whatever. All right, that's all I have for you today. I think Fastlane is step one of many, many steps. We've seen that companies like Vercel and Cloudflare are working in this space. So we know that Fastlane can potentially become something very useful. I would love to get your thoughts. I'm going to start working on a better demo with a real client and a real server that anybody can implement inside of their code. And I'm going to open source all of this. And so let me know what you think, and see you very soon. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, I'm going to stick around for another 20 seconds just for the stream delay, and see if there's any questions in the chat. Right now, I just see like a hello, hi, how you doing? Okay. But if there's no other questions, feel free to reach out to me via email or join our Discord. I think that's the fastest way to get answers. All right, now, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, wherever you are in the world. Keep building, keep shipping, and keep telling the world about all the amazing projects that you're working on. Hopefully you have one. If not, build one. All right. Take care. Bye.